So this is the step stool I made a few years ago now to try and help my mother-in-law step up into our blazer when we took her for appointments and shopping and such. This made it easier since she couldn't lift her feet very much. This made it easier to go from the ground clear up into the blazer. She only had 4-inch steps or so each step, and it's wide enough and stable enough that she was able to get up in. Well, I need to help take someone else to an appointment, and so I figured instead of just leaving it just as the bare wood, I'd paint it with some outdoor paint. This is just built with 2x6s, 3/4-inch plywood, scraps of 2x6s for the front and back for the bottom layer, 3/4-inch plywood that's screwed down through on those, and then scrap 2x4s and a piece of 3/4-inch plywood on the top. So now that it has paint on it, I'm going to take one of the sanding belts that had extras, or I should say, that split, so it's no longer useful as a sanding belt on my sander, and I'm just going to cut chunks off and staple that on so that there's grippy bits. Then this will be all nice and ready to go and a little more waterproof and weatherproof. And since I use this in the garage too to get up to when I'm working on the ceiling, like putting up the lights and such, it'll give me a little more grip when I'm standing on it as well. So first I took the little divider tape that's supposed to join it together off, then cut the end so it's a little more square, and then cut the rest of the belt in half after I get headphones because it was really loud, the two longer pieces. And then I figured I'd put the smaller ones in the center and the longer one at the front and the back. And then I realized, like, after a couple spots, as you saw, I ran out of staples, so I had to go get more. So that's always fun. Then I had to use a hammer and tap it in. And it looked like it's going to work. And there we go. Now we have sandpaper on there. I'm not sure. I might want to put a couple staples in the center too. I don't know that it's going to be needed, but I might want to do that just to be covered. But yeah, that should work much better. It'll give a little more extra grip. Not that I never had problems with the bare plywood, but paint's slightly slicker than bare plywood because it fills in some of the gaps. So this will be back to making this nice and grippy. And it doesn't need, there should not be enough space that does not have the sandpaper on to cause any problems, because you should always have your foot on some of the sandpaper anytime on there. Unless you're a tiny little kid, and little kids aren't going to need this or use it. So that should work. Very cool.